another episode of TV Tropes. Pepto's got your back, they do. Welcome on this lovely day of another TV Tropes episode. Yes, I've been due for a new one for a while. I love this website, but I haven't done one in a while. I think afterwards I did Destiny 2 and then Elden Ring, and I didn't do anything else aside from the Elden Ring break and the new videos that we just have out now, which is now the new Smash Bros. Videos that I will go in depth another time, and the Gartic phone session and the Muck session and whatnot. That Muck session, by the way, that is the longest uploaded thing I have ever had in terms of how long it took. It's not the longest video, but it damn sure took so long. Oh my god, it was so much. It was on DaVinci Resolve, and that was ridiculous. So, now I'm going to continue on and do TV tropes and whatnot. So let's go ahead and enjoy this lovely thing. We'll start off with, oh boy, starting off with the big one. Magical Asian. Let's do it. Magical Asian, like the magical Native American, the magical black person. That already sounds bad, but I love the blacks, but I just don't want to get hit up by YouTube for anything wrong. Exists to dispense lessons to Caucasian characters using the wisdom of his people. He, and almost always a he, will usually be a martial arts master, a practitioner of traditional Asian medicine, or a sage of some Eastern religion. If he is not explicitly supernatural, he will often be so high schooled in his art that it will appear superhuman. Martial artists will be impossibly good fighters at medicine men and will be able to easily diagnose and cure any illness. Bonus points to be mentioned, Chi or chakra. And the sage will be enlightened with some kind of supernatural intuition. Expect at least one scene of them meditating, growing bonsai trees, or engaged in any other blatantly non-Western activity. And so, let us get on to our video games. Oh, there's only two of them here. The Matrix Path of Neo has a 4 level, has the old NPC Chinese herbalist who can sense auras and chi, who gives Neo a golden power to make him permanently stronger. And then we have the Jedi Grandmaster Citation. While conventional definitions of race can easily be applied to humans in the Star Wars universe, her appearance was based on Korean-American actress Snow E. In Star Wars The Old Republic was a rare female example, while she was more of a side character in the Jedi Knight storyline. Was absent in others. In the Knights of the Fallen Empire expansion, she takes a role reminiscent of Yoda, and alongside the Force of Ghost of Darth Maul, teaches Force-sensitive characters how to draw on the light side and dark side of the Force to construct a lightsaber attuned to both. Nice. Yeah. Alright. There we go. And then we have our new troop ditching the dub names. Oftentimes, localizers decide to change certain names when translating a work for a different region. This can include the name of the work itself, or certain characters or things within it. This may do this in order to ensure that the work becomes as popular as possible with its new audience. However, sometimes after a series has been announced for some time, the localizer may decide to revert these changes and start using the same names as the original. This could be for a variety of reasons. The series might already be successful, and the localizer feel that changing the names is no longer necessary. The creators might want to keep the names the same in all regions for consistency's sake, or the original creator of the work might not like the localizer's changes and request that it be changed back. Okay. Now we got a few here. Alright. I'll do the ones that I'm into. Ace Attorney. In Japan, the games follow Japanese lawyer Naruto Ryuichi. When localizing the games for America, Capcom changed the setting to California, and the protagonist got renamed to Phoenix Wright. However, for the spin-off of duology The Great Ace Attorney, they instead used the original setting of Japan, and Phoenix/Ryuichi's ancestor kept his Japanese name. Naruhodo Ryunosuke, presented as Ryunosuke Naruhodo, to follow Western full name conventions. This is because the story of the GA games deals heavily with the relationship between Victorian England and Meiji Japan, so making it take place in America wouldn't have worked. The same applies to Achi, Pain of the Era, Takushi Achi, whereas his modern counterparts were named Winston and Gaspin Pain in the localization. Alright. Oh, we got one for... There's Final Fantasy, and I've played Final Fantasy games, but not these two. But yeah, when the retail first appeared in Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, the Italian translation renamed them to Faici Viatori, Traveling Hawks. Later on, the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild refers to their species with its original name. Okay. We then got we got Persona. When Persona was first localized in the West, many of the characters' names were westernized. Some were rather simple, like Maki, Meri, and Yuka, Alana, while some were drastic, like Keiji Nanjo, Ne Trinity, and Takehisa Kandori, Guido Sardiana. In the sequel, Persona 2, specifically Eternal Punishment, while the Persona 1's first cast remained westernized, they were given their Japanese surname, with Kandori himself claiming that his westernized name was Elias. When Persona 1 was remade for the PSP, the names were reverted back to their original Japanese name. Okay. We'll do a couple more. We got a few. Outside Japan, Princess Peach was originally called Princess Toadstool, which the localizers presumably thought was a better name for the princess of the Mushroom Kingdom. In Yoshi Safari and from Super Mario 64 onwards, they switched her using her original name, beginning with a letter of the start of the game, which she signs as Princess Toadstool Peach, implying that Toadstool is her last name, but the series has made little to no allusions to the former name since. The idea of Toadstool being her surname while her given name starts with a P dates back to the Super Mario Bros. Super Show, where Princess Toadstool was once randomly referred to herself as Princess P. Nice. And yeah, this was a show that I used to watch when I was a young child and whatnot, and it was quite interesting. We got Sonic Adventure within Dr. Eggman and Robotnik. I think everyone kind of knows this and whatnot. Everyone knew about the Toadstool thing, unless if they didn't play 64 and whatnot, if they're like younger audience. But yeah, Dr. Eggman and Dr. Robotnik it was pretty big within Dr. Robotnik. Street Fighter Gil's friend and mentor was known as Nash in Japan and as Charlie in English. When he appeared in Street Fighter V, he went by Nash. And Kid Icarus, Thanatos, Thanatos, and then Yakuza. I haven't played this one. Alright. So, much more than magical Asian trope. Now, what I'm going to go ahead and do, which is the other one that I did, that is kind of our main topic for this third episode. Last time was the Kirby tropes and whatnot, because it was a video game, and then we'll move on to another specific game franchise and whatnot for the next one. So let us do this one. So we're gonna go to these psychology tropes. Alright, so we got a lot here, but this one was something that was this one just came up in my head just a few minutes ago, because I wanted to see how this was. So let's start off with some pretty interesting. Start off with something that is, something I want to see. We're gonna start with Beneath the Mask, because Persona 5, one of Persona 5's tracks is Beneath the Mask. And in fact, I have checked this page before, but now I get to read it to y'all. But right down here, right there, this, we're probably gonna be reading off a lot of Persona 5 in this episode, probably. And maybe Persona will be a episode for another time. I don't think I'll do it the next episode and whatnot, or the next TV Tropes episode. But I'll have that in mind and whatnot. I have a few in mind, but yeah. And if you're asking about Danganronpa, if you've actually seen my Danganronpa episodes, that will be for another time as well. But I'm gonna do the ones that I generally that I generally do have a lot of familiarity with first, and then like Danganronpa Persona, which I do have a lot of familiarity with, but have been on this channel, will be for later because they are on this channel already. So, I'm a shapeshifter. At Poe's Masquerade, I am both face and mind, all free for you to draw. I'm a shapeshifter, chained down to my core. Please don't take off my mask, my place to hide. Also, Persona, there are huge games and whatnot, and they have a lot, and also, I have not played Persona 5 Royal. I have not played that one. I guess we'll go do both. We'll do one for this one. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, General Shepard portrayed Task Force 141 and killed him, revealing himself to be a well-intentioned extremist. Very hard for Price and Soap to bear, though not too hard to believe. Yeah, so I will go off within this. Obviously, Persona is a big one. This trope is a staple of the Persona series, right down to the title. It comes from the Latin word for mask, role symbolism. At the beginning of Persona, Philemon states that each person has innumerable masks that they use in daily life. Are you aware of the multiple selves hidden within you? The self filled of divine love, the self capable of demonic cruelty. Okay, that is very real. I think everyone does that in reality. Everyone tends to hide their true self so much, and Persona does a great job at showcasing that. That's why it's a staple in Persona series. When you hear of Beneath the Mask, you probably think of Persona. It's Persona has a song track off of it. Everyone has at least listened to it. If you played Smash Bros, you know that there was a new remix track to Beneath the Mask, which is cool, with Joker. And yeah, this the Persona series is filled with this trope. It is quite insane of how much there is that includes Beneath the Mask or anything to do with masks. The statement is repeated in Persona 2 about this time involving literal masks. The funny thing is that the actual objects represent the characters' repressed memories and thus their hidden selves. Persona 4 is all about what we have behind the mask. The shadow's self, both in game terms and in Jungian psychology, and facing it. Interestingly, the characters achieve happiness not by rejecting the mask entirely, but by reconciling it further with their stifled feelings. This is a big thing in Persona 4. Each person you confront each person in your group and whatnot of their regrets and their actual selves and how they feel in the mind and whatnot. And Persona 4 really does a good job of it. Persona 4 is on Steam right now, and if I ever decide to, I'm just gonna say this right now, if I ever decide to, if I'm masochistic enough, I will do a Persona playthrough, because Persona playthroughs are so long. I might have to do hour-long episodes to actually get the whole thing out, but that's only if I want to, you know. Like Danganronpa, they're long, but they're not as long as Persona. Persona is ridiculously long. Like Persona 5, on average, is like 90 to 100 hours long of the actual story. I don't even want to know what Royal has, but I'm gonna play Royal in my own time, if I get it. And yeah, just Persona's too long. They're awesome games, but they're too long, and I will be burnt out on the channel if I decide to drop one. But if I decide to, and if I decide to, then I must have enough strength to actually put up with it. Even though they're super cool games, but I feel like they'd be too much for me right now to record an entire thing. And plus I have to play through the games, and yeah, it's just long. Persona 5 has shadows and personas, both reflecting the true feelings of their selves. For the villains, they generally show the character's true sociopathy. Twisted desires for the heroes, meanwhile, they generally expose their revenge, but for a reason, well-intentioned extremist desires to change society and the adults that have wronged them. They even awaken the personas by literally ripping a mask off their face. There's even a song in the game called Beneath the Mask, the singer not really knowing who they are without their mask. Yeah, that's another big thing. Loss of identity, that is just something else. The stark difference is perhaps best personified in Joker, the protagonist. Few who see him in his normal life would suspect that the quiet, unassuming, glasses-wearing Chai-Sung with a shady past is actually a flamboyant, confident, daring, justice-seeking thief with flair for the dramatic at the best of times. Some characters debate which one is the real him, but based on their characterization, it's both. Yeah, Joker is in this game is quite interesting. You play as him, but it feels like he kind of has the most character. Though Persona 4, it's actually arguable between the two, I would say. Yu Narukami for Persona 4 also has a lot of character and whatnot. It's best also detailed in the animes and whatnot. And, yeah. Persona, aside from 3, in my opinion, which their protagonist, well, has a dark past and whatnot, I honestly think the story does a lot better than the characters, because Persona 4's character selection, cast, and whatnot is a lot better in my opinion for Persona 3. It's just that Persona 3's story is great compared to Persona 4's, which is good, but a bit confusing, but nice, because it is a murder mystery solving kind of thing. But, 3 does better on how to, while yeah, people wouldn't like Persona 4 story because you do have to figure out mystery ones, which I like a lot. I will say that I think I would prefer Persona 4 no matter what, because I do like the story still. I could see why people would prefer Persona 3 story more. I could see why. It would make sense. We got a lot here. Oh, we have Heavy Rain. Heavy Rain has Lieutenant Blake and his boss, Captain Perry, liking by the book cop Norman Jaden. However, their true selves reveal that they don't like him. Yeah, they're not, they don't like Norman Jaden. Let's see. Overwatch 2 came out, but I'm not gonna talk about it. Delta Rune, okay. I'm gonna save this for when I play the game, because I think that would be better to do. Let's see what visual novels have. Ooh, we got quite a bit. We got some Matt Ungard is very well aware of his public image and puts a great deal of effort into maintaining it. Oh boy, when he decides he doesn't have to, he's one of the most obviously evil people in the games. Yes. Dahlia Hawthorne, she seems so sweet and innocent. She actually has the most intended murder victims at 7, one of which was Phoenix himself. She is a very nasty person. Yeah. We also have Phantom from Dual Destinies. Beneath the mask of a cheery, hammy detective lies more masks. And beneath those masks, each coat of sociopathy and ruthlessness, there is nothing. Yeah, there's literally nothing. Alright, we got quite a bit here, but if it gets to... Okay, so it does not get to V3 because V3 is the next project for this channel after this episode and another episode. I do have a plan for another thing. I'm not gonna say what it is, but yeah, yeah, I'm not going to talk anything about V3 yet until V3 is finished. That is the thing. So anything Danganronpa related to any TV Tropes episodes will not contain V3 until V3 is finished. And V3 is a long project, so be prepared. Sayaka Maizano on the outside, a sweet and cheerful girl next door with a few goofy quirks. This is really the image she's trained to portray as an idol singer. When she isn't keeping it up, she reveals she's desperately lonely, dependent on her idol friends, and she has done some dirty things to get ahead in the industry. Her amiable nature and desire to make others happy isn't fake, but she's a lot more of a broken bird than she lets on. Or that she likes to let on. Celestia Ludenberg calls herself the Queen of Liars, and it's no surprise that her entire persona is a complete fabrication. For starters, her name isn't Celestia Ludenberg, it's Taiko Yasuhiro, and her elegant gothic Lalita appearance is a desperate attempt to make herself seem special. And I'm going to say it right now, I didn't think we were going to get another character like this. I won't say who it is, though. She's also not anywhere near as stoic as she seems. She feels trapped and powerless in the killing game and is absolutely desperate to escape, and she occasionally displays flashes of temper when questioned. This ultimately leads her to becoming Chapter 3's murderer. Yeah. Here's the biggie. Nagato Komeda spends most of the second game's first chapter as an ordinary high school student. Totally. Much like Makoto Naegi, but once his role in the first murders is sussed out, he reveals himself as a dangerously unstable and obsessive individual over Hope and Makoto himself. Okay, and we can tell who this is. This is Junko. The big bag Junko Enoshima displays several different personas with highly varying sprites to match. The first game has Royal Dio, Punk, Punk, Smart, Kawaii, Gloomy, Monokuma, and Pervy, and the second game adds playful Doraemon and Crying. Nice. But when confronted with something they don't understand, using Makoto, Hopebringer, yeah, they immediately revert to a monotone, neutral expression sprite, which is implied to be their true self behind all this persona switching, which they do just for the fun of it. Yeah. Everything else here is not really interesting, but yeah, Beneath the Mask is quite a neat one. Okay, we still got plenty of time. Wow. Alright. So, the next one. Let's go down to... Cope. Steve Mald. I'm not. Emotion control. Video games. Not much. Oh well. But we should probably say it out loud, so. Controlling emotions is quite different from regular mind control. It lets you toy with people, brainwash them, and in some cases get a lot resolved from much less effort than actual mind control demands. The super trope of emotion bomb and getting smileys painted on your soul. A character who can do emotion control often has one of these powers in their toolbox. Emotion bomb itself has a subtrope in supernatural fear inducer, but the control is over fear alone. Alright. God is flawed. Dang. A hide mine. I can change my beloved. I just want to be you. Ink blot test. Love makes you crazy. Any yondiers, I guess. Being in love can cause a person to behave strangely and irrationally, a tendency which is often exaggerated in television and film. Usually played for laughs in sitcoms and anime, it can be used as motivation for villainous or at least uncharacteristic behavior in more serious stories. However, it can also result in behaviors that are presented as being noble, though unusual. Well, let's go. Oh boy, here we go. We got Persona 3 now. Persona 3, after the journey ends with the hero's defeating Nyx at the cost of the player character's life, Yukari, who was in love with him, is stricken with grief in the answer when the group gets trapped in the abyss of time and learns that the 8 keys of time can not only take them back to the present, but also give them a one-way trip to anywhere in the past. Yukari elects to return to when before Nyx was defeated and try to find another way that doesn't require the one she loved to die. Even if she risks the end of the world as we know it, this results in the group finding each other over what to do with the keys, and when Yukari is defeated, she gives up on her plan. Interesting. Yeah, I didn't really play the answer. The answer was set in hard mode. I played normal, which I was fine with. But I've been playing a hard mode. I know what the final boss is. It's like a 4 big dog with his name Eratinus or something. Aside from Nyx Avatar, which is one of the best bosses in the series. And, you know, there's Mass Destruction, dope ass with the trumpets and sax or whatnot. And, you know, the player character having that blue haircut that covers one of his eyes. And yeah, Yukari was an interesting character. Junpei was an interesting character. My favorite was Midori and whatnot, but... Or no, that's not Midori, but... God, her name, she's red-haired. I can't remember her name. It's been so long since I've touched that game. I could probably remember Persona 5 more, though. Mind screw. The mind screw is something that relies so heavily on symbolism or surrealism, absurdism, or has failed so extremely in an attempt to regular old coherency that the immediate response afterwards is, what the heck was that? These works beg for fans to invent their own improbable theories about epileptic trees and such. There are several criteria for a mind screw, and a mind screw will usually fit a few of them. Nice! Okay, so let's go to video games. This is a big one. Assassin's Creed. I'm not gonna read all that. I haven't played much of Assassin's Creed games. Binding of Isaac. I didn't really play that game, I'll be honest. Bioshock Infinite. Just looking for ones that I've released. Oh! Call of Duty Black Ops. Most of the game, especially the penultimate level, where it's revealed that Victor Razumov's been dead for years, or has he? They never found the body. Yeah. And the last cutscene at the end of the campaign, which implies that Mason participated in or committed John F. Kennedy's assassination. Yeah, that was really cool. I liked when back then they like put a lot of time into their campaigns and whatnot. They were really cool. Black Ops was one of the coolest ones out there. It was just so neat with how it was and whatnot. Earthbound, a number of odd occurrences happen throughout Nessa's journey. While some of them are just jokes, there's also possessed street signs, a glowing neon dark world of backwards talking shadows, an afterlife that looks like a Grateful Dead album cover. What the fuck? And the final boss whom you, the player, not the characters you are playing as, have to fight. The plot itself is vaguely explained and dives into cosmic horror at the end. Its predecessor had you entering someone else's mental world by touching a seashell and reading a diary. And then came Mother 3, which is even stranger with highly symbolic and artistic tone, especially at the end. And of course, what did Porky do? Oh boy, Porky. Man, Mother 3 not being localized is sad, but yeah. Let's see here. I'm not even gonna talk about Five Nights at Freddy's. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that was interesting. I'm not doing Kingdom Hearts. That is like a whole another thing in its own. That'll be for another day. But I don't even think I'll do it. Minecraft's ending implies in a roundabout and poetic manner that the entirety of the player's life has been a dream. No, we're not talking about the player character. We're talking about the player. Minecraft is just one of many dreams, all of which make up the total of your mental manifestations that is reality. Sometimes the player dreamed it was a miner on the surface of a world that was flat and infinite. The sun was a square of white. The days were short. There was much to do, and death was a temporary inconvenience. Sometimes the player dreamed it was lost in a story. Sometimes the player dreamed it was other things. In other places, sometimes these dreams were disturbing, sometimes very beautiful indeed. Sometimes the player woke from one dream to another, then woke from that into a third. Sometimes the player dreamed to watch words on the screen. Oh shit. Wow, Minecraft is Minecraft, guys. That's nice. That's fun. Is it not? Ah, we got no more heroes. Ah, and Goichi Suda. No more heroes places for laughs with many symbolic elements that wouldn't make sense to in other games, but do in this one because it's part of its overall presentation. In comparison, the plot of No More Heroes 2 Desperate Struggle, while still containing plentiful symbolism and odd instances, is immeasurably more sane story about the cycle of revenge. Yeah, that's I've told you about that. No More Heroes 2 is much more on the story side, while No More Heroes is No More Heroes literally doesn't have much of a story, aside from the fact that you were drunk and what when they said The Witness, I thought of Destiny, but yeah, No More Heroes, as I mentioned before, No More Heroes 1 doesn't really take a play on the story, but it's more so just a reveal that in the end Travis wanted to kill that bitch and the sister of his. And then No More Heroes 2 is actually kind of about the plot of revenge and the assassination's life. It is cool. It is indeed much more big. It is much more story than No More Heroes 1. Dawn of 2, Goodbye Despair. Okay. The execution for the Chapter 3 trial is probably one of the strangest in this franchise. Mikon is lying in a hospital bed. When Monokuma comes and dresses a nurse holding a giant syringe, but instead of injecting it into Mikon, he stabs it into the ground when it turns out he's fueling up a giant rocket shaped like an arm. The rocket takes off, Mikon still in the throes of despair disease, straddling it with ecstasy on her face as the rocket carries her off into the depths of space. Yeah, that's quite something. My god, Chapter 5 trial. Holy shit. One of the best trials in the series. It was executed great. It was quite crazy, and I'm so sad. In my opinion, Chapter 6's trial was the weakest Chapter 6 of all these games. Yeah, I played V3, well, I played V3, so I can say a stance on this. I'm not gonna really say anything, but V3's is definitely a lot more better than this Chapter 6 trial, in my opinion. Not just the game world, but even the game itself starts to glitch out with garbled messages, glitchy visuals, and dead characters suddenly appearing to speak with everyone, with nobody even noticing or commenting on it. By Chapter 6, it's revealed that everyone is actually in a VR simulation that's now slowly degrading. The visual glitches and world-shattering plot twists only get worse from there until the interface starts to break down. The protagonist also has a number of symbolic mental sequences in the climax as well. Before that, the characters start tossing around the word game. Do you mean the in-universe game or the real game that you're playing? Probably both. Alright, I think we have time for one more. Let's do it. Let's get a big one. We're looking for some big ones. No, not doing that. We'll do another emotional one. A character is upset, really upset. They need something constructive to do with themselves to let off some steam, but art takes too much time. They don't want to break anything. and they are about to destroy themselves with comfort food, a cigarette of anxiety, or by drinking. So what else can they do? Well, when someone has a lot of pent-up frustration and just can't sit still, a common way to handle this situation is by picking up some weights and exercising the pain away. Okay, that's not what I'm gonna do. Sorry, but I wanna do something. I wanna see what some of these other things are. We'll do something with dreams, recurring dreams. The more often you have a dream, the more important it is. If you are dreaming of things to come, the upcoming event is even more plot significant than you think. If someone's talking in your dreams, they want to really make sure you get a message, and it's not psychic in origin, but a plain old flashback nightmare, or indeed any form of past experience nightmare. You know the event involved really bothered the dreamer. That last is truth in television. The symptoms of PTSD can include recurring dreams of the traumatic experience, as in having anxiety dreams when you're really worried about stuff. I'm just going to say right now that the one game that's going to come into mind is Amorian to me. It's not in here. I had to end one with fucking... I have to end one with... I had to end one with me reading something off. Damn it. Edgeworth and Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, states in one case that he always has the same dream. His dream being the day his father was killed. For 15 years, I've had a recurring dream. A nightmare. It's only a nightmare. That's what I told myself. But now, I know it wasn't a dream. It scares him because it's a dream that he himself fired the gun that killed his father. Oh god. Okay. Yeah, these are the psychology tropes that I wanted to cover. Yeah, psychology is one of my favorite things out there, basically. I took psychology in senior year and whatnot, and it was really cool learning about many things, like the neurons, like the nodes of Ranvier, the myelin sheath and whatnot. And like there are some really cool things learning and all neat stuff of psychology. We did a self-case study of ourselves and whatnot, and it was really cool. And overall, I hope you enjoyed this TV Tropes episode. I'm gonna put this into editing. Usually these episodes don't give too much editing, but I think I just need to do one and whatnot. And yeah, enjoy y'all's night. Thank you for coming by on this lovely day. Peace, peeps.